gentlemen, boys and girls, everybody from all around the world, hello, welcome to another episode of The Welch. But with me, your host, Jean-Luc Welch. Let's make some noise, shall we? Let's get excited. Let's clap it up, because it's Friday. It's the weekend. It's time to get excited, because it's time for a break. It's time for us to relax, to get ourselves together and celebrate having ourselves a great time as we put in the work, and now we can end our weeks off strong with a whole host of topics of discussion, debate, fun and excitement, and all around opinions given by moi, my man himself, Jean-Luc Welch. This is me, your host, and we're happy to be with you all. On it is, we have a whole bunch of news involving the world of boxing into the sports landscape as we got some returns officially now. Ain't no more rumors with what's going on. Jermall Charlo is officially back and got a date to fight, which is on the undercard of Errol Spence Jr. Yes, indeed, versus Tim Sue. It's happening. My gosh, we never thought we'd see today, and now we're actually going to get into it, and we're going to discuss how that is. We don't know who's going to be the opponent. We can at least delve into the fact that he's now officially back. Mind you, it's the same brother, I believe, who said he was retired. So we don't know. That might have actually been his brother. Whatever the case may be, it's been a long time coming, and now at least one of the two Charlo brothers and the Lions of the boxing world are back to take his pride and stake in the world of boxing under his wing once again. Also, we got some news with Bam Rodriguez after his fight with Vargas, which is coming up. We have gotten some words from Eddie Hearn that he is going to actually call out the likes of Inoue, the monster himself, and set up a huge fight potentially for the end of the year or early next year. All we know is right now, it looks like all roads are leading to a monster versus monster level clash of the pound-for-pound number one and number two fighters in the world going at it against each other sooner than we may think. I'm telling you, it's about to be an insane matchup and an insane clash. We're going to discuss that with you all on today. Also, O'Shaquie Foster and Raymond Ford are still happening in their fight on Saturday. This has some pushing and shoving going on, and we're going to be talking about that as well. And it might be actually today. The fight, we wanted to do, regardless of which, we just know we got a whole bunch of action as well as a whole bunch of other topics that you can control and talk about, because it is Friday, and every Friday we talk through the championship rounds. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, you all control the floor and control the show for the whole of however long we choose to go. You all are the people that dictate the pace, dictate the topics, and dictate all the happenings that we go through and discuss today. Put your stuff in the chat down below, and we are taking fan questions and all around viewer input on whatever you want to discuss today. Yes, we have plot points, we have topics that we're going to try to delve into, but this show is completely going to be steered by you, the masses, in the viewing and listening public out there on YouTube. And if you want to talk about the NBA, the NFL, boxing, or anything else, movies, sports, television, video games, whatever it piques your interest, if I can talk about it, hey, I can be about it, and we can discuss it with you all on today's show. But we appreciate you tuning in, and hey, if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Yes, indeed, come on, be a part of the hottest show in all of the globe. Come join the empire and come join our community together by hitting the subscribe button. Be sure to hit the notification bell after you do, so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube. Leave a like on the video. One like makes a world of difference for us to be able to reach the masses all across the globe of YouTube and beyond. And please do the two most important things, which is number one, if you can't support the channel monetarily, because we're funded by viewers like you. We ain't PBS, but doggone it, we're gonna use their tagline, because we need you all to help us go and keep this show going. We got Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, as well as super chats, super gift stickers, and the like. If you can choose to support the channel, it would mean the world to us, helps me to pay some bills, and also helps us to go through and invest into this show to make it bigger, better, and even more enjoyable for you to witness and enjoy. And the other thing that you need to do, which is the most important thing, or one of the other two most important things, share the show with everybody that you know, so we can keep on building up this empire together, all with you and your support, making us grow and shine. And adding soldiers to this army of an empire, to this family that we're growing right here over social media and all across the globe. And we appreciate your time. We appreciate your energy. We want to hear your thoughts in the chat, and we want to get you involved with everything that we talk about. So without further ado, it's time to talk boxing. It's time to talk sports. It's time to hear your voices and opinions, because it's the championship rounds. So it's time to step into the ring. Yes, sir. Let's get it going. It's time to work. It's time to get it started. Let's make this show the best that it can be. And let's dive right into our best topics of the day, or rather our best topic of the day, which is your voice and opinion, because it is indeed the championship rounds on today's episode. We're here, we're back, we're live, and we're ready to talk with you all on the world of boxing and the biggest news that we need to cover in everything that's going on surrounding the boxing world is the return of one of the young, well, I can't call him young, but one of the lions in the boxing world that used to run the division in the world of 154, now moving up to 160, and I believe now he's fully got at 168. He has returned to the ring, and that is none other than the man, the myth, the legend himself, one of the two Charlo brothers, Jermall. Charlo is indeed back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, buddy, I can't believe it. I'm shocked. This is unusual news. I'll be completely honest. I will be completely honest. It's unusual. It is uncanny. I had no inkling that this was actually going to happen. Mind you, we had already thrown the ship out to sea when it came to looking at this fight as, well, it's gonna come back. We've seen him training, we've seen the videos, we've seen all the stuff involving, oh, somebody's gonna make a move, but nothing really panned out. Both Charlo brothers didn't seem like they were actually gonna do anything, even though they were kept on teasing and instigating and teasing some more that something's finally gonna shake. And now we're finally in the midst of a legitimate opportunity to see one of the two brothers that used to be a big part of running the world of boxing, now back to the foray as Jermall Charlo, the bigger brother of Jermall Charlo, is returning to the ring in, I believe it's in Australia, going up against somebody, we don't know who, but on the undercard of Errol Spence versus Tim Tszyu. Yes, indeed. And in all of this news, we have to understand that the last time we saw Charlo come back in the ring was on the co-main event of a fight that was supposed to set up Plant versus Charlo, versus Jermall Charlo. This was a fight that had a bunch of animosity already involved in it due to Caleb Plant slapped Charlo in the face. Everybody was all hot and heavy saying, oh, we can't wait to see that matchup. You're going to let Plant disrespect you like that? We waited over 2 years for that fight to actually come to fruition. Then we get the fight. Before the fight, where both of them are essentially in another Ring Magazine in New York situation where, like with Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia, if they both won their fights, they were going to fight each other on the next big card. It was supposed to be like that with Caleb Plant and Jermall Charlo. However, we saw Caleb Plant lose to the likes of Resendez, and now he comes. In terms of Jermall Charlo, he handles his business, Plant doesn't handle his, and for the next 2 years, we hear nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm talking dead silence and nothing but Instagram videos and moving pictures about him potentially saying we're going to still take over, and the takeover never came. And now it's finally here, and so I'm expecting the first fight of Charlo to be something that gravitates, in all honesty, not many people, because it's going to be an easy fight almost assuredly. Almost assuredly. Let's go on and rip the bandit off right now. Let's go on and do it. Come on, I know. We all excited for him. We all want to see him come back, absolutely. This is not going to be a fight that he's going to come back and all of a sudden take on one of the 5 biggest men at 168. It's not going to be that case. It's never going to be that case. He's going to probably come back against a bum. Let's be real. He's going to come back against somebody who just ain't that good, because he shouldn't come back against somebody that is oh so good. Because if we're looking at Jermall Charlo, it should not be a fight that we should be expecting him to show up and look not just so dominant, because again, with the unknowns of Charlo as a fighter, we are still waiting in the rings to see what exactly he's going to turn out to be. But the other aspect of this is the fact that when it comes to Charlo, we are looking and saying, do we believe this brother can even compete at the uber high levels? And I'm going to say no. Just like with Errol Spence, and just like when I initially said had Manny Pacquiao coming back into the fight versus Mario Barrios, we should not expect this man to pick up where he left off. Let's be real. The excitement is the name is returning, but the expectation should not be he's going to look like what he used to look like all those years ago. Not even all those years ago, 2 years ago. He's not going to look like that. He should not expect to look like that. If you think he's going to look like that, well, you're delusional. I'm not saying this to be disrespectful. We're saying this because it's the truth. This is not something that is a common practice. That you can just come back and look like you're fresh, not just fresh as a daisy, but you look like you're just better than you ever were. It ain't gonna be like that. Almost assuredly, so we should have the expectation that when we're looking at Charlo, he is going to be against somebody on Tim Tszú's card, easy to handle, easy to fight against, easy win. If he gets a knockout, hey, a pleasant surprise. But the biggest thing is just he's back. That's all we asked for. The brother's actually in the ring. The brother's actually committing to taking steps to fight. And the man is actually has a actual date in mind. Lord willing, he doesn't pull out or anything else happens that caused this fight to not take place. But at minimum, we at least have some way of anticipating that we can see the last falls of autumn. When it comes to Jermall Charlo's career, there's going to be an end note. We're not in limbo. Are we going to see him one more time? We're going to see it. It's just a matter of what he's going to look like. And we should expect him to have some rust. We should expect him to have some uneasiness. We should expect him, that jab may not be the same. The combination punch may be just a tad bit off. And the instincts of the boxing world that we know Jermall Charlo, has had may need some time, maybe more than just one fight, to get back to the threshold of former glory that we knew him to have, or at least get back to a semblance of that glory that he used to have as a fighter, going in and fighting in not at his prime, but in the makeup of this new position in his career. But let me keep on reading your chats, because we got people in the chat down below, like with Legendary Super saying, yo, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our live, and we appreciate you coming in, joining with us on our stream. Hopefully you're hitting a like on the video. Hopefully you're sharing the show, and hopefully we can give you the best of action as we talk through the world of boxing and beyond. Don't forget, we also got to talk about the NBA, because the Spurs and OKC are going to a vaunted Game 7, and we're going to discuss that whole game, what happened last night, and what we're going to see potentially on Saturday afternoon. It's Saturday night, excuse me. It's going to be we got a whole bunch of stuff that we can discuss, but we appreciate you, Legendary. We're glad that you're here, and anybody else in the chat or just watching, we're happy that you're here. Absolutely. Also, let me read what you had to say. Didn't Charlo randomly fight Jose Benavidez 2 years ago? I think that was a different Charlo. Let me go back and look at BoxRec real quick, and I can check it out, because this is Jermall Charlo that is coming back. This is not Jermall Charlo that is coming back. And the last fight that we had with Jermall Charlo, with a ALL, not an ELL, he had fought against, actually, I don't know who his opponent was. I don't know who his opponent was. His last fight was the co-main event of Plant, but who was it against? Not Jim. Good gosh, good gosh. See, was it Matt Corobo? It couldn't have. It couldn't have been. Was it Jose Benavidez? Wait a second. Hold on. Wait a minute. Wait a second. Hold on. Let me fact check this real quick. I'm getting multiple things from multiple sources. Hold on 1 second. We're going to BoxRec. Bump this. We're going straight to BoxRec. Let's figure this out today. Jermall Charlo, his last fight. Thomas Lamana, that's who it was. Thomas Lamana was his last fight. The fight before that, he fought Jose Benavidez Jr. and won via unanimous decision. And that's how we got a WBC retaining excuse me, the WBC Super or World Middleweight Championship at that point in time. But he won it. No, I'm sorry. He had the fight before against Juan. I think it's Makasi Montel. And then the fight after that was Jose Benavidez Jr., which he won by unanimous decision. And then after that, he fought against Thomas Lamana, which he knocked out in, what knockout was it? Round 6. And after that, he ain't fought since. So that's what's transpired as of right now. So that's what we're looking at. From the standpoint of Charlo and his track record in the ring. Again, he knocked out Thomas Lamana in his last fight. Excuse me, I said it wrong. He had fought last year, not 2 years ago. He had fought in 2025 last year. It's been over a year, or just about a year, since he got back into the ring. Let me rephrase that. But he's only had 2 fights from 2023 to 2026. Today, he's only had 2 fights with Benavidez and Lamana. So it's been a lot of inactivity for a 3-year gap, only having 2 fights outright when fighters normally fight twice a year in this current landscape of boxing as a whole. We've been asking a lot of questions. So he did look better than we all expected going up against Thomas Lamana with the knockout in the 6th round. I remember I went to go see that fight, not live, but I went to go see it in where I went to go see it. Went to a sports bar. That's what I'm trying to get some friends to come along with me, but nobody wanted to come. Regardless of which, that versus this, we're repeating the cycle of looking at the expectations and recalibrating what we should think. Because even from Thomas Lamana to now, he is older, he has had more time out in the ring, and we're back in the reset mode of, well, how much is he really back in full to compete in the big wigs, or with the big wigs of this current division of, I believe, 168, because I'm assuming he's not going back down to 160 because of the fact that, 1, he was already preparing to fight Kettle Plant at 168 at the time that he fought Thomas Lamana, and 2, everybody that is worth any sort of money, big money, is at 168 right now in the upper echelon of talent. Canelo, Carlos Adames, Hamzat Shiraz, Christian and Billy, Lester Martinez, all those names and the titles that are vacant, all are up there for the taking with the big kahunas of big time appeal and revenue. Even Edgar Berlanga could get you some dough if you're Jermall Charlo, strictly because people want to see you back. And trash talk versus trash talk, of course that fight's gonna sell. Absolutely. So that's this. It's gonna be interesting, at least to say the least. But let me see. Canton Boxing, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our live stream today and joining in on our show. Let me see. How about Casemiro versus Neri? Who you got? That's a good question. That's a good question. Ooh, I'm going to pick Louis Neri. I'm going to pick Louis Neri. Now, for the majority of people that know Louis Neri, they know him for getting knocked out by Inoue. Now, here's the thing. I think Neri's power can get to Casemiro before Casemiro can get to the likes of Louis Neri. And I think the destructive nature falls on Neri more so in this fight. And him being able to push that pace and come out, being able to say, hey, man, I can, it don't take a clean punch from him to cause some real damage, to cause some real concern in the minds of fighters. We know Casemiro has been a guy that, again, in the framework of super bantamweight, and all that stuff, he's been, yeah, in the limelight trying to be the guy who, in a way, ducked him, which we've already debunked that years ago with how that situation occurred. But I think Neri can actually get him. I think he can get him out of there. But before I give the full thing, let me see what you all got. And I want to see your thoughts and opinions. Casemiro is the best ever, and Casemiro is the reason why aliens don't come. No, he's not the best ever. No, he's good. He's good now. Don't get me wrong. He's good. No, I will admit he's good. I'm not going to disrespect his skills as a boxer. No. I just know for a fact I am wary of him going up against a fighter with the type of real swatting ability like Louis Neary. Not saying he fought people like that before, but it's dangerous. It's dangerous. And if you think it's an upset, cool. I don't think it's gonna be an upset. I think it's gonna be a good fight now. I do think it's gonna be a good fight. I think it's gonna be a really good fight. At least in my humble opinion. Not gonna lie, I don't even know where it's streamed, but I'll find out. That's a fight that highly interests me. But I think we'll see Neary get him. I do. I think we'll see him getting out of there. Because as much as with all the drama, with all the talking points that he said, hey, with all the stuff that we've seen from the build up to Inoue and the reputation he's had over the course of his entire career in terms of Neary. But I mean, he can be a little, rah-rah. He can back it up. He can back it up. So I'm taking him to win this. But for me, if he does, great. He's right back into the mix of being in the makeup of the heat of this division. Not saying he never left, but like further elevating him back into, okay, boom, potentially world title positioning is in his front view mirror, which I'll be excited to see. Let me see. Berlanga versus Charlo would be interesting. Yes, it would. Oh my gosh, can you imagine that? Now, granted, Berlanga is not somebody that is high tier. I dare say because of the layoff of Charlo, Berlanga may be a step, I'm not going to say too far, but Berlanga is a serious test that we would have to be concerned about with a potentially rusty Charlo. He's not on the championship elite tier. We understand he's not on the Canelo, Shiraz, Lester Martinez, and Billy level. We know that. But still, he is good enough that he can go and cause some serious uproar for somebody who just now, I believe this will be his first time in Charlo, going into 168. Even though he's the bigger of the two brothers, this would be the biggest he's ever been. So that would be an interesting fight that would have some real risk. That would have more than real risk. I would be concerned. And I've always said Berlanga, he fought above his level when he went up against Canelo, sure. But I've always said he's not that great of a fighter. But I can tell you this, for somebody where I'm putting Charlo at right now, he might be enough to cause some real upset potential for people that think Charlo just should be able to walk through him, which he shouldn't be able to walk through him easily. It's going to be, unless Charlo's able to fight like the Charlo of old, yeah, he can get him out of it. He can handle his business, do what he needs to do, and end this fight probably by unanimous decision, if he was able to fight like that. But I don't know if he's that anymore. So that's why that piques my interest a whole lot. A whole lot. Let me see. Mark Quavies, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you coming in on our show. Let me see what you have to say on today. Ford looking weight drain yesterday on the zone, and he is emotional right now. Hey, look, man, I'm telling you. In fact, I was gonna play a clip about that whole situation with the face off, the shoving, and all that stuff. We about to touch on it. Let me read this last chat about Charlo, and then we're going to jump into Ford and that whole conversation with that fight. And again, it's still the championship round, so we can talk about whatever you want to discuss in or outside of boxing when it comes to the world of these fights coming up this weekend. Usyk and more reaction with him against Rico, him versus Caballero, Inoue and Bam. All that stuff and so much more we can discuss with you on our conversation today, or whatever you want to discuss, because today, Fridays, is your time to shine and get your takes off and see what you got against the master of disaster, me, your host. I'm sorry, I'm getting too hardy. Let me calm myself down and let's keep on having some fun. I think Charlo would keep his jab in Berlanga's face. Yeah, he would. He would. He's got one of the best jabs in the business when he was on top. I still think he does have a good jab if he keeps up what we saw against Thomas Lamana. Great. If that never goes away, he's got a great shot at being able just to do, at least at minimum, 50% of what he used to do when he was fighting actively. And that, for him, with how he's been able to master the jab in such a snappy accord, yeah, might be enough to keep the like of Berlanga out of his way. Now, if Berlanga can take the power, he will be able to take the power, most likely. But if Berlanga is able to get through that jab, because he's not going to be ducking in and out or getting out the way. If he's able to get through it, as in literally power it through and just tank the shots, well, now we could get into some dangerous situations of, okay, how does Charlo deal with that type of power and size on the inside if Berlanga can close the distance, or more specifically, land at that mid-range area? Because Berlanga's a big cat. He is a big cat. He might have looked small against Shiraz, but he's a big dude. He is a big guy. So him at matchup-wise, physically, height is close. Reach, Berlanga might be a little bit longer. And so it's going to be, that jab at long range, mid-range, and if that distance gets close enough, Berlanga's going to have enough reach that he can get to you too. And if you get tagged with something or caught with something, or even if your power with your jab isn't able to stave him off, now it gets a little bit concerning. What can you bring once that fight turns into a little bit more of a physical affair? I'm interested to see how you would handle that. Not saying he can't, but just understanding with the rust, with him being out the ring, it could be a concern, but it makes that fight really interesting to potentially see as a return bout. Not an immediate return, but in the fight after this, or against an opponent that we don't know. After this, okay, if he looks good enough, I wouldn't be mad at seeing it. I wouldn't. But let me keep on reading where you all's chats are. And going back to Marquavius, Ford looking weight drained. I don't think he looked weight drained as much as the emotional comment that you said resonated more with me in what he looked like in this face off against each other. Because if you're looking at him, I mean, this cat, when I say he's hot, he got a, when I say he's got a short fuse, it's for real. It's legit. It ain't something to just blow over. We were bringing this up yesterday as just something of a conversation to talk about the mentality of, in the fight before the fight, the pre-fight antics sometimes can tell a tale of what's going to happen inside the ring and the state of mind and game plan that an opponent is going to bring to the table on the actual night of the fight. And this has been a whole buildup of us really looking at Raymond Ford and saying, hey, brother, right now you look mighty vulnerable because you are overzealous in a whole lot of instances and you are quick triggered in a lot of scenarios. Just off of these two alone. And one of them is going to be when he was reacting to the crowd with Eddie Hearn talking, asking him questions about his fight with O'Shaquie Foster, and subsequently afterwards, this brother quicker than a hiccup goes after the rest of the crowd, which is insane to think about, but I'll let him show you exactly what went down as we play the clip right here.
Been great at this.
Just so you all can see exactly what we're talking about. Let me make sure y'all can see it. Yes, y'all can see it, so here we go. This is Raymond Ford having a short fuse that could potentially be a dangerous situation for this fight as we get closer and closer to fight night.
I know that you're ice cold, you're full of confidence, but this is a time to become a two-weight world champion on a big platform, big stage.
Also, viewer discretion is advised. Apologize for any language that's incurred. I can't bleep it out, but hey, we're trying to be sponsor friendly. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, and all that stuff. Hey, sponsors hit me up, just so you know. But here you go.
Ice cold?
I'm just ready, bro. I ain't really got too much to say. I'm ready.
All the build-up, of course, has been great. At this point, it's just about finishing this final head-to-head. Go and do what you got to do. Get on that championship weight tomorrow. But in your mind, do you make it look easy on Saturday night?
For sure. Shut your bitch ass up. What?
So emotional. Hey, he's so emotional. Hey, y'all can't fight for him, either. Y'all
They can't fight for you, nigga. And they can't fight for you. Hey, Big Sis, you been talking for too long. I can't wait to shut y'all the fuck up. Y'all talk too much. Yeah. I swear to God, bro, I can't wait.
Look, it's not funny because it's like we love a hungry fighter. We love somebody who is determined and then who is wanting to really, show what they know. I understand, but he's been like this all week. I'm talking at stuff that normally, now we've seen Boots and Zaya talk against each other, and we've seen how they've been able to still keep their cool, keep their calm and composure while still, jawing, talking, and holding their own. But this is problematic because of the sense that this, like what we said with Timothy Bradley a couple of days ago, with what he had brought up about how Raymond Ford is a fighter who has easily lost his cool. This is not just a obsolete observation. This is something that's actually, it can be problematic. And they showed when they were going up against each other and looking and straight up in each other's face. Right before, this isn't the weigh-in, but right before the weigh-in today, it's hot. He's hot. And he, again, lost himself in the moment. As we go and play this clip, I'm trying to make sure you all can still see y'all can't see the clip. So here you go. Let me show you exactly what happened in not the weigh-in, but the second to last face-off that happened. And it was, again, wow. I get the intensity, but Lord knows this can be bad.
That's you banging on? Why is that? Why you didn't do that out there, bro? Why you didn't do that without the security not around it? That's what you did. Why you do that? Hey, you feel good? You feel great? I hope that make you feel good, my G. I hope that make you feel great. Now, one time, hey, you see all that bitch word you said on the internet? Not one time have you said it to my face. Because I would have showed you. Oh, it's too late now. We got the fight coming. But you should have said that when nobody was between us. You should have said that. I would smack the shit out you. My grandma would have said in front of me, I would smack the shit out you. You. I ain't going nowhere. You. I would have smacked the shit out you. I would have smacked the shit out you. I would have smacked the shit out you. Man, look. Hey, don't fuck up your money. Hey, you waited till the security guards got here to act tough. Man, shut up. Stop talking to me, nigga. Stop talking to me, nigga. I'm talking to your fighter. They know what time it is, brother.
I'm telling you, man, this fight, hey, look, the more we get closer to it, boy, it's, I'm sorry, I'm all for decorum and respect, but brother, that's exciting. that right there, that makes you, oh, shoot, that's the type of fight. That's a type of situation. Oh gosh, so what happened? Hold on. Hold on. I ain't mean to close that out. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. What's going on? Okay, there we go. I don't know where. I'm sorry. My apologies. I was trying to close out BoxRec and open up another tab to get some more clips and stuff, but I messed up. Regardless of which, y'all see what's going on. This instance of a fight got everybody really saying the same thing. Even more than just this exciting, Ford is hot. And this brother is losing his cool real quick. Calm versus chaos. That's kind of what it looks like. And Foster looks like, and also I see kind of the weight draining sentiments. I didn't see that before, but now looking at the cheekbones, being able to see the skeletal structure of Ford's face a little bit more than I expected to see while looking at Foster, and he looks completely fine. Okay, he may be a little bit weight drained in the fight. Now, is that going to affect him really as much going into the night if after he rehydrates? We'll find out. That's a whole nother conversation. Trick is right now the mentality. This can get this brother in trouble. It can get him in trouble. It's more than just a ruse of talking points. It's real. He can be problematic. If Ford, as a fighter, is this eager to go get him, I understand it. But how to control that once he gets in the ring, that's what I'm concerned about. Because Like we said with what Timothy Bradley had iterated, it is real that if this brother gets hot, you can get under his skin. You can get him out of his own game plan. You can make him become a rudimentary fighter that just shows up and walks you down and tries to be the bully, like we had said on Thursday. Or Tuesday, one of those 2 days. This is a problem. Going up against a long fighter who has an excellent jab that is trying to show that his boxing acumen is among the best in the land in terms of O'Shaquie Foster. We need to see Ford keep his cool because he's going to have to walk through the process of getting through the long jab and the long reach of Foster to land those hooks and get on the inside and be the destructive combination puncher that we've seen him be able to be over the course of the rest of his career. Not saying he's a dynamite one-hit KO artist, but he's got enough pop that he can make Foster really feel the effects. But he's got to get there to do it. And it ain't gonna be long range. It is not even gonna be mid range. Most likely that he's gonna be able to have the capacity to be able to do real damage. It's gonna need to be in the pocket, in the thick of it, down low, or in the midst of you are on the inside with him, attacking that body and being able to counter whatever O'Shaquie tries to throw with the hook of your own on the jaw. It's gonna need to be like that. Because if it ain't, you're going to have more than a tough time, but you may not have a chance. And yes, Fulton was unprepared and ill-equipped to go up to 130. We understand. It was still a phenomenal performance, but we also say Fulton should never go down, should never go up there again. He's not built for it. Literally, he's not built for it. Understandable. That doesn't change the fact that what that showed was if he is able to get you and keep you away, you are going to have a tough time getting back in, if ever being able to get back in. And Ford, in this situation, shorter reach fighter, shorter fighter outright, what we saw against Nick Ball, which was one of his better performances, is not going to be able to happen in this very fight. Because that same dichotomy in the fight, that same dichotomy that he had in the fight, where he was the more imposing figure, now falls by the wayside. And that can get dangerous for him, especially for a guy that loses his cool, both in and outside the ring, specifically inside the ring. His eagerness can get him. His over-aggressiveness can cause him to be more vulnerable than he ever wants to be. And his determination to force the issue, because he gets frustrated, because of that range, because of that distance, because of not just the jab, but the straight power hand that can come from Foster. And he gets to a point where it's round 5 and he still is yet to land anything significant. He's going to start going, forget what the coach says, forget what the game plan should be. I just need to bully. And that's going to get him caught. That's going to get him hurt. And dare I say, there's an opportunity we could see a legitimate KO in this fight. There is. Yeah, for real. For real. For real. There's a real opportunity that we could see an actual KO in this fight. That's not out the question. Because we're dealing with a fighter in shock. He's got enough tagging ability. Yeah, he can do it to you. He can really do it to you. Let me see. Foster to win. Let me see what you guys say. Legendary, you say Foster to win by KO is plus 550. Dang. So it's that. Well, if I got my odds right, that would mean that it is a more unlikely scenario. That you bet 100, you get 550. So it's unlikely that he could knock him out. It may seem unlikely, but it is real that it can happen. It is. Because Ford can lull himself to sleep. He can put himself in a position to get caught and get hurt. He can fall in too far, and with the speed that we know Foster is, he can tag him. He can catch he can catch him right on the temple. Or if Ford tries to, lunge in, duck down, now you're getting caught on the back of the head. Not intentionally, but because that's literally where your head is when Foster tries to come and counter with a straight. Next thing you know, he's delirious. He's fumbling all over the place. He doesn't know where he is. Why? Because his equilibrium is gone. All because you went and got overcommittal. Excuse me. You went and overcommitted, and you put yourself in a vulnerable situation because you weren't patient enough. Because you're so eager to get the KO without setting up properly. And if you can't get the KO, you will get frustrated with your fact that you aren't able to land like you feel you should land. More holes, more opportunities, and more easy ways to go and get put out. Genuinely. So it can get scary really quick. It can get for Foster, it can get for Ford, it can get scary really quick. That's why for me, this is an upset. If we see Ford beat Foster, that's an upset. It's not disrespect, it's real, it's an upset. But Foster is the better fighter, more skilled fighter, more deliberate thinker in this fight. Beyond just the length and the speed and the jab and all that stuff, he is a better thinking fighter than the likes of Raymond Ford. Raymond Ford's still young, yeah. He's probably not as mature from the standpoint of as a boxer. Because he's been in a position where he's fought some of the best in his division, like with Nick Ball, the wrecking ball Nick Ball, put on a great performance. He's been able to show he can belong at that top level. But that doesn't mean that it could be a situation where he might have, I don't want to say jumped the gun too quick, but his mental makeup isn't yet ready to fully encapsulate his abilities and talent. Put it bluntly, he may be too far along for his own good as a boxer before he's been able to fully adapt, adjust, and refine himself as a fighter, because up here he is still moving 100 miles a minute and is so quick that you don't have to do nothing but a tap to get this man to blow up in the ring. Over anxious, over eager, over angry. I'm not saying that because of the outside, so I'm saying that because we've seen inside the ring. And next thing you know, boom. The Raymond Ford that is supposed to be all this in a bag of chips gets whittled down into the Raymond Ford block, big punch, big punch, big punch, big punch, block, one dimension. And that can be a problem. That can be a major problem. Let me see. Marquavius, his face is skinnier than I've ever seen it. He had been talking about going up in weight. I can see he needs to now. And yeah, now that I've seen him, yeah, it's real. I can see that. This might be his last fight at 130. Now that I'm seeing the better iterations or a clearer picture of the weight draining that you're talking about, which I didn't notice before. I'm glad you pointed it out. See, that's why I like y'all. That's why I need y'all here. This is why we're a community. Y'all catch stuff I don't and let me see things that I wasn't aware of. And now we get a better framework of picture. I ain't got no problem being wrong. I love being informed on stuff so we can make sure we're better as, not just as a show, and not just as a potential proponent of commentary, but as a legitimate, all-around, well-rounded show. You all help set me right if I'm wrong. So we appreciate it. Let me see. Teddy Berkshire, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our live stream today. What do you have to say on the show? I got Ford the way Oshaki talking. And I got Ford the way Oshaki talking. But I mentioned have Foster. But I see some character flaws that may translate to the ring wrong. Mental flaws, confidence can change everything. And yes, we've seen it before outside. Again, this is why the importance, and for those of you that are new, we talk about things in and outside the ring. Predominantly, we stick with in the ring action. The outside stuff, as we don't try to delve as much into, because again, there are channels for that. They do a great job of that. We try to stick to the action and keep it on the fight itself as much as possible. But there is a common phrase by the likes of Teddy Atlas and others. The fight before the fight. The mental warfare of a bout. The playing field of the intellectual that goes and dictates what we can see when we get to the ring. This is one of those types of fights. And it can shift. Everything that we're saying, it's legit. Or at least it can carry some weight. when it comes to what we see inside the ring. Perfect example, when we looked at Tank versus Frank Martin. Tank went at Frank Martin. They were jawing at each other. Next thing you know, last face-off before the weigh-in, Tank comes at Frank Martin, act like he's going to punch him. Frank immediately flinches, puts his guard up, and everybody's saying, I got you. I see up, made you flinch. You're scared and all that stuff. That ended up being a clear indicator of how that fight was going to end because Frank Martin was so defensive and biting on everything. Those same bites or taking the bait and being uber defensive were the very thing that caused his demise. And before the fight even started, that told the story. He went through and got messed up. He got caught. He was too defensive for his own good. And what happened? He ducked. Like I said, he would duck. Tank would catch him. And next thing you know, boom, boom, highlight reel knockout for Tank. It told the story before it happened. Usyk versus Tyson Fury, the first fight. When Fury was looking ahead, Usyk was staring at him and never took his eyes off him. It wasn't just a makeup of, oh, one's cocky and the other one's focused. Usyk, the whole game plan was, I'm going to get in on the inside of you. And I'm going to force you to look me in the face and trade with me and guarantee you, when it comes to that, I'm going to take you out. Next thing you know, one of the most iconic rounds that we've had in modern heavyweight history. Usyk comes in, I think it was round 8 or 9, gets Tyson Fury on the ropes. Tyson Fury had to stare him in the eye and try to trade with him. He tried to do some pity-pat stuff to keep the guard busy. Usyk was deliberate and landed a 1-2, rocked Fury, and put that brother on the ropes like a pinball machine for the last 30 seconds of the fight before getting a knockdown. And boom, you gotta face me, whether you want to or not, because you've been running all this time. Told the story. All of this, tells a story of the fight. That's why I'm so adamant that when we're looking at forward, we're going to see this man fold. Because he has not learned to keep his composure and focus that anger. Mike Tyson was one of the most aggressive, relentless, scary, and completely unabashed weapons of destruction that we've seen in boxing history. But what made him so dangerous is that he was able to focus that anger and aggression to such a finite point that it caused him to be one of the best cases of technical proficiency and power that we had seen in the heavyweight when he was in his prime. Though he was completely undersized at only 5'11", 5'10". You cannot be so wide open and not be able to, when you need to, funnel that into a fine point. Just like a punch. If you aren't able to, if you're able to focus the energy of your shot instead of just on the glove as a whole, onto 2 knuckles, it makes the impact of the shot even more destructive, even more cutthroat. Because it is focused. The wind's blowing. Yeah, you feel it. And a wide gust of wind that will rock you. But you get hit by an air gun, where that air is coming out of a focused point of impact. It's still just air. It'll take you out. Air pressure is one of the most destructive things out there. Air pressure has been the thing that's been able to literally move water out the way. Cut things in twain, strictly because it's focused to a point. That's what we want Ford to be. He's an unfocused weapon of destruction. And most of the time, that comes to his own demise. And if he doesn't fix that, Foster's going to expose it. If he does, great. And we'll get everything about hunky-dory, sunshine and roses. But right now, we're in a bit of a pickle. At least to me, we're in a bit of a pickle. Let me see, a Teddy Berkshire, you say mental chess? Yeah, man, it is mental chess. It absolutely is. Without a doubt, it's mental. Because if it wasn't, this would just be who's stronger. Boxing is chess as much as it is violence. So I would call it a beautiful dance of violence because it's intricate steps to lead to the ultimate goal of making your opponent submit in one way or another. Let me see. Holmes or Hand? Now, who's Hand? I don't know who Hand is. Let me see. I'm going with Holmes because the other. Who is the reference to? Hold on. I'm a little bit confused. Can you reiterate what that means when it comes to Holmes? Are you talking about Holly Holmes? Or are you talking about a different person? I'm a little bit confused in my opinion. My friend Gus turned him into a killer. He was already a menace prior at 11. 14's emotional too, so it will get ugly. Yeah, it'll probably get ugly. Or it will try to get ugly. Holly Holmes. Okay, Holly Holmes. If you're talking about Holly Holmes, yeah, I'm most likely picking Holly Holmes. Now, I think there's been talks of her rematching likes of Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey's been talking a bunch of stuff going at the likes of Holly Holmes, saying, I'll rewrite history and I'll knock her out if we ever fight again. I'm not sure if that's actually happened. But I'm probably in that match. I'm going, oh, okay. Excuse me. Now I see. You talk about her on the card. Yeah. Okay. On the Amanda Serrano undercard. Okay. Now, I got a better picture now. I see what you're saying. I'm still going with Holly Holmes. I'm still going with Holly Holmes. Most likely. As a stand-up, yeah, even though, again, she translated from boxing, UFC went back to boxing and all that stuff. Yeah, no, I think she should still be able to win. She's old, though. She still is old. I'm scared that at this is why I'm scared for people fighting at such an older age, men or women. Because, again, I don't want something going wrong to where you looking like a shell of yourself. Yes, we saw Rousey go through and submit her in 11 seconds. So I'm thinking, oh, everything's gonna be hunky dory, and Holly can do the same thing. Even still, though, I'm expecting Holmes to be able to win. I am. I would be surprised if we can't get to a stoppage, especially if she's able to hurt her severely. And in the later stage of the fight, I'm not thinking this fight's gonna go early. 3 rounds up, she wins by KO. She's probably gonna go later. But anybody at this stage that's been retired like this and fighting, I'm concerned. I'm concerned. It's just like with Pacquiao. It's just like with Mike Tyson. Anybody at this point, all of them in the same boat for me. I don't want them fighting anymore. Let your legacy be what it is, please. Please, for me, please. Because as the main event, if I see Holly Holm get knocked out cold, I don't want to see that. I'm sorry. I don't want to see that. That's me. I just don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see that happen. Let me have the memories as they were and not have any other issues. Let me see. Also, MS, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our live stream. And we're glad that you're here on the show with us today. Ford needs a KO on his resume badly. I'll say this, at this point, a win will be enough. That's the thing. It's not even about just the KO. I would just take a win because he's been near the mountaintop. This will be his second time. The first time was Nick Ball when he put up a valiant effort. This would be the other most notable or one of the more notable tasks that we've seen him have fighting in a position for a title. And if he wins this, the launching point is incredible. Him versus Navarrete is on the table. Him versus, if he wins this and then decides I'm moving up because I did what I needed to do and I got O'Shaquie Foster out of there, even better. But if I just won, I'm going to 135. I'm a champ. I beat the buddy that was talking about I'm on Shakur's level, and you say you're a mimic of me. Well, guess what? You can't beat me, so you ain't that good. I'm just that great, actually. Now you go into 135. Well, guess who's on the docket for potential fights? You got Abdullah Mason. You got Sam Noakes. You got potentially Shakur Stevenson coming back down to 135 if he still wants to do that. You got Raymond Murtaya, Andy Cruz, and Lomachenko, who's also coming back to boxing. You have a litany of names, discussion and topics galore that we can all go and put you in and say, hey, you are a fighter that we want to see in the midst of all this stuff. I would love to see it. I would hope we see it. I am begging that we do see it. But the real issue is, if he can't get over this hump, well, it's going to be an indictment on whatever progress that we saw Ford potentially be able to achieve. There's going to be a whole lot of people saying, well, I'm reneging on my opinions of what I thought Ford could translate into. And he's not really all that. I don't want that to happen to him. But that's what can happen if he doesn't get it done. If we don't get it done, that's the scary part. And Lord knows, like, don't let him get knocked out. Be clear, don't let him get knocked out. That's a whole nother can of worms. Good gosh. Let me tell you something. If he gets knocked out, if we see Ford get put to sleep in this fight, it can happen. But if we do, good night. The things that are going to be said, the stuff that's going to be implemented, the storylines that are going to completely stop cold with the current elevation that people want to see Raymond Ford have, it's going to be dramatic. He can recover, but it's going to be dramatic. It's going to be hard to watch. For real. I'm serious. Because this man has had a lot of hype as well as belief. There's been some legit belief in him. Good gosh, if he loses by KO, it's going to be that the buck stops cold. It's what's going to happen. And so, there's two extremes that can take place. And it can be a problem. It can really be a problem if he ain't careful. Let me see. Also, Dr. Umar, how you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our live stream today. Let me see what you got to say. They bullying you. Wait a minute. Who bullying you? Hold on now. This is the first chat you came in here on. What did somebody say? Hold on. No, this is the first time you came in here. I hope they ain't bullying you. If they are, hey, I got your back. We trying to keep it clean and keep it pristine on here. We love the debates and arguments. We don't want nobody hating on nobody. But I'm also watching, and brother, you just said, you came in here saying something was going wrong. Now, if it gets worse, or if it doesn't rise, hey, I got your back now. Y'all know what we do in this community. But also, we'll just say this. I got you. If something goes wrong, I got you. Trust and believe. Because we're going to be all here supporting and being able to edify each other. But also, I think you just stepped in here saying fire. So I'm looking at where. I ain't seeing nothing right now, but I'll keep an eye out in case something does indeed occur. No question about it. But even more than just the topics of Raymond Ford, we want to also make sure that there was something else that was happening. Something else. Oh, I remember. Bam. That's what I wanted to cover also with this whole, it's still the championship rounds. And it's still a championship round. We're still talking about through the world of boxing and beyond on everything under the sun. And we are excited to see how everything goes through when it comes to him and potential fight with Inoue. And now we're seeing that potentially he's going to call him out. And if he does, I'm excited for it. Let me see. But before I do, let me read some of your chats real quick. Like with Hasim Rahman. Oh, okay. How do you feel about Hasim Rahman? Ooh. Now, be clear. It is junior, correct? Let me make sure, because this is on the same card as the event. I think it's on. It might be. Let me see. Let me actually look up who he's fighting real quick. So apparently, and like I said, this is more so. This isn't that we're gonna get to Inoue real quick. Let me just answer this question. If you're talking about a scene Rodman coming back in the box at 53 years old in July, if that's what you're discussing, I don't want that to happen. Be clear. Again, 50. Coming in and coming back. Yeah, he had a phenomenal knockout against the likes of Lennox Lewis. Shocked the world and all that stuff. One of the bigger upsets of that point in time in boxing. Absolutely. But leave the fighting to your son, please. And don't leave the fighting to your son. Train him. You don't need to come back. Anybody over 50. I'll put that in a blanket statement. Anybody over 50, you don't need to be fighting again. The last person I even had belief that could come back and fight and still hold up in some way was Mike Tyson before what we saw with Jake Paul, as in when he fought the likes of Roy Jones Jr. That's the only one. That's the only person I've ever said at 50, yeah, they can still do something. I wouldn't even say that about George Foreman. And that brother was able to do it at 45, at 45 years old. So, excuse me. Bernard Hopkins may be the only other one. And even when he was gone, he was like, okay, yeah, you ain't got it no more. And he was able to push it all the way up until he was about 48. Still a champion at that point in time. Broke the record twice. But once you get 50, you shouldn't be doing it no more. You should not, for anybody. I don't care who you are. You shouldn't be fighting no more. And please, enjoy your money, enjoy your time, and be able to just coach, lead, and be an example. But you don't need to be doing nothing else. My gosh, please. You don't need to be doing nothing else in this whole situation. But anyway, let me keep on going through and talk about the likes of Inoue and Bam, because that is a big thing that we do need to delve into, because he is slated to call out Inoue after his fight with Vargas, as per the words of Eddie Hearn himself, who is, I believe, Bam's promoter. And I'll let him confirm the news to you that he got a fight that he got in mind, and it's the monster himself.
I mean, outside of AJ Fury.
Well, hold on, wait, let me make sure y'all can see it. Hold on. Let me make sure y'all can see it. Okay, y'all can see it. Okay, there we go. Okay, now let's play the clip and let's get it going, so y'all can see exactly what's going on.
I mean, outside of AJ Fury, I think that's the biggest fight in boxing. I think it's the best fight in boxing in terms of the ability, the prime of both men. It is a massive fight. And it's the biggest fight between those kind of weight classes and upwards, 3 or 4 divisions upwards, for years and years and years. And we are ready. But listen, Vargas has got a lot to say. It's a massive crowd coming to Phoenix on June 13th. And that's a big moment for him. And if he wins, he'll be calling out Naoya Inoue. We're ready to make it happen. I mean, outside of...
We got it now. I'm telling you. We've been waiting and anticipating. And it's finally time. It looks like after he beats Vargas, he's going to be going after Inoue. Straight up. Also, let me see. Somebody call me Nurse Uma. Wait a minute. I hope not. If anybody, please, if we can, please be respectful if anybody's doing anything in chat. Yeah, we laugh, we have some fun, but please, if we can, be sure we on the up and up. And also, if we ain't trying to cry wolf either, if nothing's going down, I'm not seeing anything. Maybe the chats are already getting deleted automatically. But if not, hey, please, keep it consensual. But going back to the conversation, Inoue, Bam, after Vargas, that's who potentially, not even potentially, that's what's going to be happening. And if so, great, more than great, incredible. I'm going to tell you this right now. This is for real. And most likely, it's going to be a big time impact of a call out, because the fight's probably going to end in a big time KO. Because watching Vargas back, yes, good fighter, good power and all that stuff. I'm not just saying because he got cold hard knocked out in a knockout of the year contender, I believe a year or two ago, where he face planted on the mat. Oh, that's going to be completely indicative that he's going to get put to sleep. But what I can say is that just in his fighting style, this man, he's just way too stiff. He is just way too stiff as a fighter going up against the one of the most fluid and destructive forces that the boxing world has to offer in the likes of Bam. I'm serious. And look, pad work isn't everything. Pad work isn't the thing that goes through and completely dictates what we'll see on the night of the fight. But what it does show is a level of coordination and poise that you'll bring to the table. And if you're watching him train, which I'll show you his training videos right now. If you watch him train and you watch him work and you watch what Vargas is doing inside of the ring, I'm telling you, when I say I'm concerned, it ain't just because I'm trying to blow some smoke. There's some real stuff you should be worried about. And I'll let the footage show you for himself as we switch back over to picture-in-picture and show you what Vargas is doing, training to prep for this fight against the number 2 pound-for-pound boxer in the world on my pound-for-pound list, Bam Rodriguez. And we'll let the clip play and show you exactly what he's doing. And so as you can see, with this sparring footage, with this work that we're seeing from the likes of Vargas, in this fight, it's a good reason why Bam is going to call him out next. Not just because that's the fight that should happen next, but because he's way too stiff. You can literally see it right here. He is way too stiff. He's way too he's way too rigid. He's way too, not just telegraph, but his stance, defense, reaction time, the way he throws combinations, everything feels vulnerable. And I'm just saying vulnerable as in, he can get caught and get hurt. I'm talking about as you're watching this on my side. This brother is so stiff that any movement that Bam tries to do left or right, he's going to be put off balance with, almost assuredly. And his willingness to try to go and throw back, he's not going to be able to. This is probably going to be a one-sided affair. This is probably going to be a distinct KO for the likes of Bam, where he bloods him up, makes him bleed, cuts him up, and has this man not just bewildered, but has this man beat bad. And when you see this performance against this type of fighter, it's going to be, okay, hey, look at what I can do. Look at him strolling out on the floor. Look at me as I'm on Inoue's level. Now let's make the fight. We both had our moments. We both have had our points in time where we can go and have everybody ooh and ah. And now it's time for the big kahuna. I've moved up. I've showed you my power. I've showed you my ability. I've done the work, and now you can see that I can translate up to a higher division. I'm going to do it one more time, and now we're going against Inoue. Give me that fight. Let's make it happen. And it would make all the sense in the world. And this is the opponent to cause the biggest buzz for that fight. Not because, and again, we respect Vargas, don't get me wrong, we do respect Vargas. This is a big step for Bam to show that he can indeed be not just live up to the pound for pound moniker, but as the biggest questions about him going from 115 to 118 and ultimately trying to go to 122 with his ability to handle physical presence that is at these higher weight classes. If it shows he passes the test with flying colors, where everybody says, okay, boom, yeah, we're all bought in, even for those who may have had some doubts about Bam. So this is still a big step. This is significant. But he's going to mount the floor with him. And it's going to set up the perfect atmosphere to have everybody calling for the same thing. Big or small, short or tall, we want Bam versus Inoue. No matter how much we may think that these smaller weight classes, we don't know their names. Not by we, I mean the vast majority of the casual public audience, which is no disrespect. It's just a lot of them don't know. This is the fight. And this is the perfect opponent to make Bam be bought in by the masses around the globe. Just because this fight will probably go viral because the knockout will go viral. Then the talk stirs, the call out echoes even louder, and the propensity of the public to start demanding that as well gets even more likely. And then we get to fight. And if so, great. I love it. I can't wait to see it. I want to see it. And if we do see it, I'm telling you, what a time to be alive. Because Inoue, Nakatani, Inoue, Bam, back to back, potentially, would be insane to say. It would be insane to witness. Now, with that being said, it may not happen this year, that fight, due to what we've seen from Inoue's team state publicly, that Inoue may only fight twice this year because of him fighting 4 times last year. Him fighting against Nakatani was the first fight, mega fight, sold out, 4th biggest gate we've ever seen in boxing history, biggest gate outright in Japanese history, absolutely. But he's probably only fighting twice this year. And Bam and him may be the second fight to happen, but it also may not be. And it could be that we see Inoue take a proverbial tune-up fight before their fight with Bam ultimately that gets made in January. Like we see with Turkey Al-Sheikh saying that's when he wants the fight to actually happen. January, February, early in the year, we get that as the big kahuna in the States, or in Japan, I'm sorry, over in an 80,000 seat stadium. That's what we could witness and see. That's what we can have as on the table to start the year, hypothetically. But just know that is the timeline. Because that's the timeline, you want a statement that can translate and last all the way into next year. That's what probably we're going to see from the likes of Bam when he fights against Vargas and takes him out cold stop, at least in my opinion and in my humble estimation. But even still, we got more stuff that we can discuss on our show because we are still in the championship rounds. We still want to hear your voice, your thoughts and opinions on everything involving the world of boxing and beyond. Want to hear your thoughts on everything involving the NBA, NFL, boxing, and beyond, everything under the sun when it comes to everybody looking at these fights and getting incredibly excited, going through potential other situations of matchups, dream appeals, and all around big-time events. Speaking of big-time events, we also got the likes of Usyk and Caballero going at each other, as now Caballero has made a full-blown statement in regards to the championship opportunity that he deserves going up against Usyk. Now, if you didn't know, Caballero is the mandatory fight for the likes of Usyk after his fight with Rico. Yeah, we've been begging for that fight to happen. We've been anticipating that fight to take place, and now it actually is on the table. It's on the way. Essentially, it's on the way that it can happen, especially after the fight with Rico, where he should or was going to lose that fight if it wasn't for the stoppage that he garnered. But that stoppage was a bad stoppage by the referee. Even still was up 8-2 on my scorecard. Everybody has questions about Usyk as a fighter going up against the rest of the heavyweight division now, with him looking more vulnerable than ever before. And for the first time I've ever seen in my life, he didn't look like he prepared properly. I never thought I'd say that with him. Now Caballero's looking for his time in the sun to go and get his fight against Usyk, and now he's straight up saying to Usyk, as he put up on his social media, no drama, no disrespect. However, Usyk, either fight me or drop the belts, but let's get this stuff going. Put out on social media, getting knockouts is not going to be the thing that moves the needle. Staying quiet ain't going to be the thing that moves the needle. We're going to make some noise. Either fight me or drop the belt, but let's get something going because the clock's ticking for you and me. And that's exactly what we wanted to see. Be clear, that's what we asked for. I wanted it. I begged for that to happen. I want fighters to do that. And now we're getting it. This is what I asked Buckram to do when he was champion. And now this is what we're getting the likes of Caballero doing. Thankfully, because this is exactly what we should have had when it came to him as a fighter, making his presence felt for the world to understand I'm not here just to hold a place. I'm not Joseph Parker. I'm not Dillian White. I want what I deserve, and I'm going to get what I deserve one way or another. That's exactly what he needs to do. Make some noise. And I've said this before with plenty of other fighters. We need to hold fighters' feet to the fire. Put the pressure on the people. Put the pressure on the fighter. Put the pressure on the man who holds the gold to do something with it. Because yes, they may hold all the power, but I tell you this, the public still has the final say for the majority of these fighters' careers. If not all of them, because not just are we the ones that, yeah, we pay the money and all that stuff, but also we know what should and shouldn't happen. We're not dumb. We're not stupid. We understand exactly what should take place when reference to the moving of divisions and the moving of a champion being a champion. And Caballero is a man who should be on the docket to get his time in the sun in one way or another, either by force or by choice. That means Usyk got to get stripped. So be it. I don't care. I love Usyk. But this doesn't change that he should not be in just the position to do whatever he wants to do. And Caballero's held this position long enough. And yeah, if you say you wanted 3 fights, you could have fought Caballero and then Tyson Fury or anybody else you wanted to do. And then afterwards, the last fight, okay, boom, you can walk away and do whatever you want. Fine, because you literally beaten every other legitimate man under the sun. Okay. But now that you used up your free one and it didn't work out like it should have, the next 2 fights that you have, you only have 3 fights left in your career, they got to be against killers because there's no rest for the weary. And heavy is the man, or heavy is the head, and wears the crown. Right now, that crown's looking mighty weighty. And it's starting to lean a little. It's slipping in the way we never thought one of the most balanced fighters in heavyweight regime would have on his head. We never thought it'd be this rattled, be this concerning. And Caballero's doing the right thing, as is anybody else that's calling for Usyk to make a move and give him the fight. Because that's what we want. That's what we desire. That's what we want to see. That's what should happen. So Usyk, I love you. I appreciate you. You are the standard for what the heavyweight world should be like. Absolutely. You're the greatest of this generation of heavyweights. Perfectly fine. But you are still in the wrong. You deny IJ Caballero's opportunity. Excuse me. And from this point on, you got to make a move to keep on solidifying your place in history. Because time waits for no man, and more importantly, the belt should not wait on you to fall to whoever deserves it, regardless of how great you are. Don't hold up the hands of time by taking fights that we don't want to see. More importantly, taking fights that we know you shouldn't be taking. And now that it backfired, hey, brother, you're more vulnerable than ever before. Everybody got a shot to beat you. Tyson Fury looks like he might be able to actually do a third run and get some good work on you. Moses Atalma now looks like one of the biggest threats that we got in boxing, in the boxing landscape right now, as we can say he's the next future face of this division. I ain't got no problem with that, but that timetable just sped up after this fight with Rico. Yes, it did. Oh, yes, it did. Yes, it did. It sped up real quick. It got mighty dangerous. It got mighty dangerous. Because I'm telling you right now, that fight has everybody saying in one accord, Atalma is on the way. He's on the way. He's showing up. He's ready to make some noise. And Atalma is echoing throughout the heavyweight division that this brother, if we didn't say he was ready before, you got to say right now, Talma could have beaten that version of Usyk. He could. Not just Kabayel. Talma could have beaten that version of Usyk. Let's be real about this. He could have beat him. He could have beat. If that was Talma, he would have been heavyweight champion. He would have been heavyweight champion. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong. If that was Moses Talma instead of Rico that fought Usyk that night, Talma would have been heavyweight champion. Kabayel, absolutely. But Talma, the reason why I'm honing in on Talma is because Talma was being pushed at as he's just too young and not experienced yet to take on any version of Usyk right now. But he is on his way, and he's looking like a threat. Now, we gotta pump the brakes on that discussion and flip it to what it actually should be. Talma could have beaten that version of Usyk, would have knocked out that version of Usyk. And so there's a threshold now that we know what Talma's up to against the best in the globe at heavyweight. And he's got to be, based on what we saw that night, Usyk, not just against Caballero, but against Talma, he got to be on some serious skill and as prepped as possible. Because I think Talma may be further along. Not even I think, I know for a fact that but is further along as a threat to Usyk than we gave credit for him. We should have jumped on that bandwagon a little bit sooner. I'll say that verbatim. I'll say that straight up. Not verbatim, that's quoting. That's me first time saying we should have sped up our timeline of what a Talma could be going up against Usyk. We should have. We absolutely should have. This was not the best Usyk, no question about it. But this just showed there's a vulnerability that with how we know what Talma fights right now, Usyk couldn't beat him if he wasn't near his best. Because now anything less, Usyk could be in some serious trouble. He can still win. Don't get me wrong. He still is when he's on the best that he can be. But now, against a Talma, against a Caballero, yeah, he got to be at 100%. But against a Talma, he needs to be at 100%. There's a difference. Caballero, he can beat him. But he's got to at least be between 180% of the fighter that we know. Because time comes through, you can lose a step, absolutely. And Caballero is a dangerous fighter, but he's also one-dimensional. That's not a bad thing in this situation, because that one dimension we just saw can beat the likes of Usyk, even though it's a one-track mind. Constant pressure, constant body attack, constant going through and giving Usyk something to worry about, not smothering him, but working while you're smothering. Not letting him use his footwork, putting him on the back ropes, and forcing him to have to go and really be a aggressive fighter. Not saying he can't do it, because again, you saw the outcome. He'll find a way, but there's a chink in the arm that we didn't think that would ever be there. Nobody can stop the feat of Usyk, and now we just saw somebody do it. Even a Usyk that wasn't at 100%, we said it shouldn't be possible. Caballero definitely has a game plan to do that, and has a style to do that. Absolutely. But if Usyk can get around that, yeah, he can probably beat Caballero. But a Talma, now, a Talma can do that and more. At a rate that even got Tyson Fury saying, I don't want no part of him. And Tyson Fury was one of the hardest fights that we've seen Usyk ever face off against. That is dangerous that's dangerous that we gotta respect at a level that now, with what we've seen from Usyk against Rico, we gotta say, if he's not fighting at that same all systems go that he was against Tyson Fury, Usyk might lose. He might lose. Because that, I'm telling you, he's a monster. I'm telling you. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I'm telling you this right now. I'm not high on the Talma for nothing. Talma ain't perfect, but he is drastically better than what I think people are giving him credit for. And people are already saying he is one of the top heavyweights as a skill-wise fighter right now. You want to call it glazing? So be it. Fine. It is what it is. I'm just telling you what I'm seeing. I know for a fact this butt is closer to a title than we've ever seen. And he's closer to the top heavyweight position than we wanted to admit for a long time. And I think this fight is to open some people's eyes that, hey, just like we said with Tyson Fury, that this bud is vulnerable after Ngannou, and the second man up could get him. Usyk, without a doubt, is in that same boat. I never thought I'd say it. The same position that Tyson Fury was in after he fought against Ngannou, when Ngannou should have beat him. And we saw him when paired up against Usyk. I said then, with no doubt in my mind, this was the biggest indicator that Usyk would beat Tyson Fury, because he's a better fighter than him outright. And that would not happen to the likes of Ngannou. We're running into that same situation with the likes of Usyk. Now, it's different because the prime of Fury was also already going further on a slope than what we're seeing from Usyk. Understandable. It was the biggest dip that we had seen from the likes of Usyk in his entire career since he's moved up to heavyweight. And it looked like he was impervious to anything after he had beaten the likes of Daniel Dubois. Everybody was saying, yeah, this buddy, his prime can go until he's, 45? Hypothetically, he got 4 fights left in him. It's going to be hard after Usyk retires is when the next era of heavyweight starts. But until then, nobody probably going to beat him. You got your best chances, but nobody probably is going to beat him. Now that completely shifts. There's some vulnerability. But it's not like with Fury, because he hasn't dropped down that far, even though this was a big dip. But the same calling of concern that we have for Fury, I'm going to say for Usyk, because the pattern's showing up again. It's showing up again. And we keep it unbiased on this show. And I'm telling you, both of them are threats, but the biggest one of everything, it's a talent. It's a talent. Because Caballero, you can afford, Usyk is so good when he's at his best. He can be somewhat slightly lower. Still got to be near the top, but he can be somewhat lower and beat Caballero. He can't do that to beat a talent. That's what this fight showed me. That's what this fight showed me. And boy, the closer we get to this, to the belts moving, and Usyk having to make a decision, closer we're going to find out that if that reality is real or fake. And I think it's going to be real, legitimately. But even still, I want to keep on hearing your thoughts and opinions, because it's still the championship rounds of this show. We got so much that we can discuss and talk about. Hopefully you're enjoying the time. Hopefully you're leaving a like on the stream as we're talking through the world of boxing and beyond, going through the likes of the NBA, NFL, and so much other stuff involving news surrounding the combat sports landscape. Well, don't forget, we have Bebo, who's also returning to the ring on tomorrow, going up against Eifert for the IBF championship, which again, mind you, after this, he probably going to fight, hopefully he would fight Artur Beterbiev in their trilogy, or potentially have a fight with the likes of Bivol going back down to 175, hypothetically. Either way, this long layoff, we're still concerned about the injuries of Bivol and whether or not this surgery has completely fixed the potential problems lingering in Bivol's body, or if it's going to be that there is an issue that Bivol will never be the same. And I'm very concerned that he may never be the same. I'm very wary. We said this on Tuesday. We're bringing it up today only because that fight's coming up and we expect to see him win. Be clear. We expect to see him win. We expect to see Bivol be able to dominate. Eifert, decent fighter, but Bivol is leagues better. But doesn't change the fact that Bivol might just be, I dare say, and this is going to sound crazy to say, but don't be surprised if we see Bivol take the Madrimov route or the Arizona Lara route of a fighter, where if this surgery did take out something, he may not go and simply fight in the same breath of bouncing around type in and out Soviet style. He may be more flat-footed. And he may rely more so on the power of him than anything else to go and get the job done and make stuff shake in this division and get back to the top of the mountain. It could be. Arizona Lara was a mover. Yeah, he could punch, but he wasn't known as a dramatic one-shot killer nearly as much. All of a sudden, he goes through, gets older, hits 40, loses his legs to the point that they're not, or loses his ability to use his legs in the same way as an elusive defensive fighter, and he turned into one of the biggest knockout artists at middleweight, at 160. Having 4, if not all 4, what is it? The last 4 of his fights, if not all 5, that he's had in this division, ending in KO. When he was going to fight Janibek, before ultimately Janibek popped, it was going to be power puncher versus power puncher, which I never thought was going to happen as a potential matchup between these two. But that's what he evolved himself into. That is what we would have to see Bivol potentially take notes from and turn into a fighter that he's sitting down. Turn to a fighter that he is really being deliberate. And I'm going to use volume and strength. Sit down on my shots. Do a little bit more like he did at the end of the fight against Lyndon Arthur. Do a little bit more what he did in the second fight with Bivol than we normally seen in his career in terms of being more flat-footed, being more, responsible is the wrong word, but being more relentless with his work in volume and punching. Yeah, we could see it. It sounds counterintuitive, but it is indeed real that may be the change that Bivol needs to do to compensate for the potential lack of mobility that the injury or that the surgery from the back may incur on. Because like I said before, when the back goes, a lot of other things go with them, and it can be a problem. It can't really be. But just so you know, keep an eye out for that in Bivol's return against Eifert tomorrow. Because it should be a win, but it's going to be might be a big difference. Now, if it's not, great. Phenomenal. He's back to prime 4. Bivol versus Better BF looks like it did in the first 2 fights, which was a classic in both instances. And we get a trilogy that still, hopefully, shows both of them at their best. Great, phenomenal. Whoop-de-doo, everybody still walks away happy. But if not, just don't be surprised if all of a sudden the commentary surrounding Bivol is he is different. Don't be surprised if he turns into more of trying to be a puncher. Because it might be what his body has to do. Because he can't move like he used to. But even still, we got more to cover on our show. And we want to still hear your thoughts and opinions. Like with the likes of Truth. How you doing? Good to see you. We appreciate you on our show. Thank you so much for tuning in and joining in on our live stream. If you haven't already, go ahead and leave a like on the video. Keep on subscribing. Keep on sharing the show. Keep on liking the stream. And keep on, if you can support the channel, supporting the show through Cash App, PayPal, or through Super Chats and all that stuff down below in the chat box or in the description. We appreciate all the support and we appreciate all the love. And let's keep on going through and listening to your thoughts and opinions. Mel versus Laura. Ooh. Now that's interesting. Now, if you're talking about Jermall Charlo at 154 to 160, that would be a little bit of a different story. I would take Laura in that instance if it's Jermall Charlo going up against Laura. Because the way Laura's looking right now, yeah, he could beat Jermall in a comeback. But if it's Jermall at 160, M-A-L-L, who's returning to the ring right now against an unknown opponent, potentially at 168, as he looks to make his real claim going up against the big wigs of the super middleweight division, as he was supposed to come back in after his fight against Thomas LaManna to set up a fight with Caleb Plant. Now we're getting a little bit interesting. If he did stay at 160 and fought against Laura, I still probably would take Laura, but that's a little bit more of a competitive fight. Because of Jermall's jab dealing with the more stationary, still defensively elusive, but more stationary, powerful counterpuncher in Arizona Laura. That could be interesting. I'm still taking Laura in both instances because what Laura's been looking like, even in his older age, yeah, it looks so hard to beat. Why wouldn't it be? More than just knocking people out consistently. He's looked like the best, outside of Janibek, the best middleweight in the land with relatively no equal. Yes, the division is not nearly as robust as it used to be, but it still stands alone. He is standing alone at the top of the mountain. And Jermall or Jermall going up against him, whatever Incredibly tough time. Incredibly tough time. But Jermall would be worse for wear than Jermall if he fought against Lara. If Jermall fought against Lara, it would be a lot more competitive. He would still lose, in my opinion, but it'd be more competitive. But that's why we're saying we want to see him come back, specifically Jermall, Charlo. Jermall, absolutely. We don't know what the word he said. It's still been 3 years, and he has yet to return to the ring. I don't know why. I don't know how. He's still living off that Canelo money, and he's talking a lot of talk, and he's talking about going in and fighting against the other ramparts of 154, but he hasn't done it yet, which just doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. I don't get it. Why? And if anything, wouldn't it have made more sense to see Jermall Charlo come back and fight on the card of a Errol Spence fight? Then his brother, because of the fact that Jermall Charlo, Tim Sue, Errol Spence, all are around the same predicament of conversation when it comes to a fighter. All of them are older. All of them are looking like they may be out of their prime, and all of them are at the bottom tier of the competitive nature of the world of 154. That's the truth. That's not me trying to that. I'm not trying to be so demoralizing. That's just the truth of the matter. All of them are around the same position. It would make all the sense in the world to have them face off on the same card, and the winner of Charlo versus Spence, they go and fight Jermall Charlo if he wins his fight, and that can elevate all of them to a potential higher standing to get to a shot at the title. I would think that makes sense. I would think that would bode true. That sounds like something that would make logically be correct because of the necessity that if you want to get to the top of the mountain, if you want to go and fight the likes of Boots, Fundor, shoot, even get to a Keith Thurman, who just fought for a title, whether you feel it's undeserved or not, you would need to make some moves, to make something shake, to get people not just invested, but show your skill sets and belief as I still got something left in the tank. That would make all the sense in the world to me. Why they're not doing that, I don't know. Why in the world that is not an option for this fight? And it should have been that they show up. Though he shows up, in terms of Jermall Charlo. Seems like it would write itself. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't make any sense. Because this literally would build itself up as in one of the biggest, in one of the deepest divisions in boxing, with one of the biggest stars there having the spotlight in Boots, along with Fundora, who's ruling the division, and Ortiz, who is still brought limelight to said division because of all the stuff with him, De La Hoya, and Boots. This division is hot for a multiplicity of reasons. Spence coming back got some noise. Tim Sue still holds some weight as a name. And Charlo, everybody's just anticipating we're going to get him back at some point. Lord knows we just want to see something shaking. Right now, nothing shaking. And it's just, I'd shake my head because this was a perfect opportunity that Jermall Charlo should have been back by now. And the fact that, again, it has been, I believe Jermall Charlo fought in 2023. Jermall Charlo, before Thomas LaManna, when he fought against Jose Benavidez, his last fight was also 2023. Jermall Charlo came back and fought Thomas LaManna, had another long layoff, and is now getting ready to come back again before Jermall Charlo's ever even fought once. Once. Errol Spence has announced his comeback before Jermall Charlo in Jermall Charlo's own division. And his last fight was, guess what? 2023. How in the world is this still a thing? How is this still a problem? How is this still going on? Oh my gosh. Like, y'all, you understand my frustration, Craig. You understand why I'm not just being eccentric just for entertainment purposes. I'm legitimately frustrated. Because this makes no sense from the timeline of what we normally see with sports and boxing. Especially when it comes to these two who normally are attached to the hip with each other. It irks my brain. Either way, Jermall, Charlo versus Laura will probably beat him. Jermall Charlo versus Laura, Laura would still beat him, but it'd be more competitive. That's my thoughts on that. But on the whole, the fact that Jermall Charlo is back and Jermall isn't, and Errol Spence is back and Jermall isn't, that does not seem right at all. And it further shows my doubts, man. Jermall, I don't know where you are. I don't know what you're doing. But I need to see something. Because right now, I have some significant woes. But either way, before we continue, or rather, as we're starting to wind down this show, because again, we've covered just about everything that we can on the landscape of boxing and sports as a whole. We do want to make sure we still keep you all active and enthralled. We don't want to overstay our welcome. We do want to talk about, if we can, a little bit of NBA action. I know we have some NBA fans out here across the globe, and one of those things that we do need to discuss is the fact that as the tail end of this show is occurring, we got the likes of a Game 7, the greatest 2 words in all of sports that have officially taken place, and we got to see a rout of a performance by the Spurs against the likes of OKC on last night's game in the semifinals of the Western Conference. And now we get between the two juggernauts of the West going at it for a shot at the NBA Finals to face off against the Knicks. We gonna get in OKC. Spurs versus Oklahoma in a do-or-die situation that has been one of the best series outright that I've seen in recent years. I'm serious. I'm talking about, man, you couldn't write this story no better. You could. And look at what happened when the calls looked a whole lot fair. All of a sudden, it changed everything. And look, what did I say about the whole situation with OKC, the rest of that bench, and more specifically, Alex Caruso as a game-changing player? In light of, yet again, SGA not playing up to the normal MVP caliber level, going up against, again, one of the best defensive teams in all of basketball as well. And the Spurs can't keep it up. And my gosh, did it show on that night, because not only did we see the likes of Wembanyama have, I think he had 28 and 12 on the night, but the rest of the crew, like with Castle, like with Johnson, like with Vassell, they not just showed up, they hounded the likes of OKC. I'm talking about the same way that we say that OKC doesn't let people breathe. They did that same thing to OKC with a vehemently, I do mean vehemently, dogged out defense. I'm looking for new 91 to 118 was the score. And Chet Holmgren, who has sucked the entire series, be clear, he's been a bum. Oh, he's been an absolute bum in this series. He's gotten sunned by the likes of Wembanyama every game, not just that they faced off against, but every game this series. It's been clear as day. Wembanyama hates this man. He hates He despises that cat with all his heart and soul. It is not even funny. He would cuss him out every chance he gets, if he really could, because this man despises the likes of Chet Holmgren. And Chet was the leading scorer on this, or rather the leading player on this team, having 10 and 10 on the game. Everybody else couldn't do anything. Even the bench that normally shows up and shows out on this game wasn't able to do a lick in this entirety of a performance. Like, it was bad. SJ only had 15 points. They took him out. He didn't even play 30 minutes because he was already running away with this series. 0 for 5 from 3. Only got to the line 3 times in this game. And the whole of OKC was only able to get to the line 12 times as a whole.
They clock back in.
Now, we talked about flopping. We talked about the issues that we had with the abstinence of referees calling the game, or rather, not the abstinence, the inability of the refs to call the game in the same balanced way. Where
says, I don't need
you
anything here.
can't
We'll
play
go one-on-one.
against OKC. Excuse me. Now,
Cornette had his best game of the series.
all of a sudden,
Of course, they were invited back for
when
6.
the chips are, yeah. Oh, this Spurs team got, and this Spurs team, they've been built to beat them. They've beaten them 3 times out the year. This OKC squad is better built, but now they're running into a situation where
I used to be able to jump like
everything that we said about them is true. Just like it's quoting Richard Pryor from the Wizard of Oz. Oh, excuse me, the Wiz. Everything we said about them is true in some regard. One of the biggest things is the fact that you are afraid to touch them. A lot of the plays, not just SGA, and getting them to the line. Now that you can't, and you can actually go tit for tat. All of a sudden, their whole game plan changes. Their whole makeup of a unit changes. Shifts. All saying that Wembanyama can't handle contact and all that stuff. Well, the buddy had 28 and 10. Got to the line 4 times and had the ability to come through and what is this? Okay, never mind. And sorry, I had some sound playing on my thing. I didn't realize. I thought I had the thing muted, but it wasn't. Oh, it's because I'm on the ESPN website and I didn't get to mute that. That's my bad. Either way, regardless of which, I don't forget what I was saying. Oh, I remember now. Before I wasn't able to mute the sound. I thought I had muted the sound. I didn't. It was just someone playing. My apologies. When we're looking at this OKC squad against this Spurs team right now, going into Game 7, they have no choice but to play through contact and play without the biggest thing being we're going to get calls in our favor. I'm not trying to be one of the people that say, oh yeah, this team just built without fouls, they're nothing. No. What I can say, this team without fouls is a different team. And now when it comes down to them needing to get offense without the momentum of you being afraid or wary to play the necessary physical defense to stop them, we can run into some problems and issues. And that's what we're running into right now with this OKC team. And just like that, especially, and when that happens, the bench can't play in the same regard. Notice, Alex Caruso, like I said, he's going to be an X factor, but for how long? Because the way he's had to play in this game and be able to play offensively as well with the underperforming of SGA and Chet, it's not going to last. And with this whole unit of an organization, the whole has to succeed. And if the whole does not succeed, the whole not just will fail, but it will fail dramatically. And now the whole of this team is starting to fail. Caruso cannot keep his same offensive production. The timely threes weren't hitting. The timely steals and timely swipes weren't going through. The 26 points or the 15 points he's able to give every time he's out on the floor, they weren't shifting and changing. Everything that he normally is able to successfully have on his X factor ability of a player wasn't able to stand up again this game. And now, with all the running around, with all the physicality, and now with the matched ability to play physical that the Spurs are now being given opportunity to do, this OKC squad is in trouble. They're in some serious trouble. It's panic mode. It should be panic mode for everybody that's an OKC Thunder fan. The Knicks are sitting back watching this team and saying, hey, yeah, beat each other up. Oh, yeah, make it happen. Oh, get him out of there. Oh, yeah. Turntables and all. New York is a buzz right now. They almost burned up the city just getting to the finals. They're having a cookout right now just watching these two teams beat themselves up. But the bigger thing that they are recognizing is that this OKC squad, they're not the same if they do play against them. And Wembanyama and the rest of this Spurs unit, they've showed, though they may be a year ahead of schedule, Though they are not even, and I'm saying this for real, they are not even the best iteration of what this team is most likely going to elevate up to. As Castle, Vassell, and the rest of the young players that can turn into stars go and more mature, or go and continue to mature as time goes on. They are built to do some damage for years to come, just like with OKC, even though OKC has more depth, more picks, and all that stuff. But right now, though they're a year ahead of schedule, they are looking like they may have this team's number. And OKC, with everything that they've done, all that cool, calm, collected nature, is out the window now. All of that, some would call it corniness. I've called it that as well. But all of that bravado of, we okay. Everything's still smooth sailing. Everybody calm down. Everybody be all right. Everybody take a seat. We ain't need to be stressed. We don't need to be stressed out. We still A-okay. All that's starting to go out the window now. They feeling the pressure of a team that has not just built on the success of what was working against them before, like with the LA squad, but now it is their role players that are failing to show up. And the role players of the other team doing what they normally do best. Arrive, elevate, and cover the sins of our star. OKC right now, they can't do that. And they may not, in next game, they're going to make some adjustments. They're going to make some changes. They're going to adapt, absolutely. But I don't think they're going to be able to do it. And I think this is going to be an upset if they win. But I think we're going to see the Spurs take this series in 7 in OKC and beat them to get to the NBA Finals. Yeah, I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. I do. I really do. I really do. Because the defensive acuity, the offensive elevation, not just with attacking the backs, but being able to have everybody now shooting like we've seen them be able to do the whole of this season. As long as nobody gets hurt, this Game 7 is going to be something to watch. But I promise you, or at least I'm putting my guarantee. I may not be Charles Barkley, but I think I know a thing or two. I think we're going to see OKC be able to lose. And we're going to see Victor Wembanyama get to the finals for the first time in his career in only year 3. Ooh, buddy. I may be wrong, but I may be right. But one thing I know I'm not going to be is disappointed. This game, this Saturday, it's going to live up to every expectation imaginable. Brother, I can't wait for it. Ooh, I can't wait. It's going to be exciting. But we don't want to overstay our welcome. We want to make sure that we still have everybody enthralled in the conversation. We can do a last call on our show to make sure everybody's still able to talk about whatever they want to discuss in the realm of boxing and beyond. No question about it. You got your voice and opinions. You got your thoughts and outputs of what you may think is going to take place. We want to hear from you. And have your voice be seen and heard for the globe to witness and enjoy and be added to the conversation. If you have anything that you want to say, you can talk about it right now. You can be about it and discuss it right here on our show. Last call for any other questions, comments, concerns, debates, anything under the sun regarding the world of boxing and beyond. When we're looking at the landscape of the sports world, what do you have to say? And whatever your talking points are, you can put them in the chat down below, and we will answer your questions and delve into them. No question about it. If not, though, we will wrap this show up and send it home and let everybody have a phenomenal weekend and enjoy the fights coming up this weekend and have your voice be heard on Tuesday as we cover the matchups, the outcomes, and the potential futures of everything involved in the world of boxing and beyond on next week. So if nobody else has anything that they want to say, and everybody's gotten their stuff out their system, we're going to wrap this show up and get it out of here and have ourselves a great afternoon and be ready for the fights and reactions come on Tuesday at 12 or 1 or whatever we show up on Tuesday afternoon. Same time, same place, same channel. No question about it. So ladies and gentlemen, with all of that being said, this has been another episode of The Watchable with me, your host, John Lucas. We appreciate you tuning in and listening on our live stream. Hopefully you had a phenomenal time. Hopefully you enjoyed our show. We do love and appreciate you all coming in on our live stream. Hopefully we gave you the best show possible. And though, yes, it's been somewhat of a slower news week, we still try to give you the best outcomes imaginable regarding my opinions, my takes, my thoughts, my processes, and everything that I can say about the sports world under the sun. And we thank you all for tuning in and joining in and clapping up for yourselves as you are a phenomenal audience to everybody who participated, chatted, and responded in our show today. And if you want to support the channel, hey, we still have Cash App, PayPal, links down below in the description, as well as Super Chat, Super Gift, stickers, and the like. If you can't afford to support this channel, we're funded by viewers like you, and we can't do this without you all, and you make this show oh so special and oh so phenomenal, and we love you and we appreciate you if you can support. But even if not, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Come on and join the empire and be a part of the hottest show in all of the globe, and be right here on YouTube, same time, same place, same channel on Tuesday for more action to cover. As we're going through, hit the notification bell so you know whenever we post right here on YouTube and on every podcasting platform imaginable. Rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to podcasts, and listen to our episodes as we upload them every week to go and catch up on anything that you may have missed on the go, wherever you may be, so you're always in the know about what we got going on and about what's going in the landscape of the sports world. And please keep on sharing the show with everybody you can, and keep on enjoying this show and being a part of our community. Absolutely. And leave a like on the stream and hit the hype button before you get or after you leave, so you can make sure you keep on push this show out to more people across the globe. But I've been Jean-Luc Welch. Y'all have been absolutely wonderful. Peace and love. Peace and love. We are out of here. Yes, sir. Salute to you. We're going to catch you all on Tuesday. Same time, same place, same channel. And we love you all. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend. Be safe, be blessed, and we are out of here.